Hey, you guys, this is the Couplings Fire podcast. Here's a couple of things you might need to know, or maybe you just forgot. I'm Taylor, a volunteer firefighter and also a firewife to my favorite firefighter. Join me as I talk anything and everything fire related. I don't claim to be an expert, I just love to talk fire, and I'm not afraid to get into real and deep discussions. Everything I say is my own opinion and does not reflect the opinions of any agency or organization I am associated with. Let's get on with the episode. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Couplings Fire podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Anderson, and I am happy to have you here with me. So today's episode, I don't know, I try to start the episode with housekeeping, right? Well, I don't know if I have really any housekeeping this time. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you guys don't love housekeeping. I don't know. But overall, I mean, just life is going well. Life is going good. Life is trucking along. Um, and I'm just kind of holding on for the wild ride that it is. My husband, Chris, has been out at the station at his new career department since beginning of January, right? And it is the beginning of April. So 3 full months of him being a career firefighter out on the streets. And it is awesome to see him doing that. It is awesome. He was made for this job. That is what he was meant to be doing. He was fantastic as a volunteer, and he would have been fine, yes. But he is thriving in the career world. So it's so cool to be able to see that, to see it from my perspective, and to say, hey, see him happy when he goes to work, happy to come home, and being able to find a job where you're just as happy when you come home as when you leave is amazing. And I hope he never loses that. I hope he never loses the feeling that he gets to do this for a job. I mean, that, it's quite literally living the dream right now. So it's exciting. From my stance on it, just kind of getting used to shift life on my, when I'm here alone. It's not all pity party, woe is me. My husband's gone for 24 hours. I'm so depressed and alone. I mean, granted, not gonna lie, the first few shifts sucked. They were terrible. And here and there, it's one of those, like, sometimes I just need someone to talk to and I wish he was here because I've always had that. But I'm doing fine. That sounds so confident, Taylor. I'm doing fine. Usually when someone says that, you don't believe them. But no, I'm actually doing good with it. I'm learning how to live with this new lifestyle. It is definitely an adjustment, and I'm finding that I really need to get more routine in my life, right? For years I've been working for myself, and there has been kind of a routine, but he's also had a very rigid Monday through Friday job with a routine. So it was always giving me something to always have constant. I haven't had that since we moved towns. It's been very much up in the air and very much, it doesn't really matter what day of the week it is. We kind of do what we want, right? So I'm looking forward to it. I have some different things happening. I actually have a part-time job that I got, and so I'm doing that along with all the podcast stuff here, my own business stuff still. I'm very involved with our church, and hopefully some other opportunities that are in my sights are going to start happening soon. And I think all of that is going to give me some good routine to it all. So even though, inevitably my job, I'm going to be working on days that he's off, right? It's going to happen, even though it's just part-time. I think it's going to be a much needed routine. I think I'm going to be happier. I think we're going to be happier with that. So overall, it's going good. I just kind of wanted to give you guys a look into what that's looking like and how I'm adjusting to it. I can really understand why people say 3 to 6 months, because I can start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I can start to see that I'm getting used to it. I can start to see it's not so bad, right? There are definitely perks to it. But yeah, that 3 to 6 month range, I'll let you know when it gets towards, farther in, maybe 6 months, if I've adjusted to it by that point. But so far, I will agree with that. It's 3 to 6 months of getting used to shift life. If you're married or in a relationship or whatever it is. So, anyways, so we're gonna call that housekeeping for this because I don't have anything else. Okay, so let's get on to the topic for the day. Let's get on to the power of choices. We are always choosing in our lives. That's where I want to go with this today. We are always choosing. So I'm a big fan of Mark Manson. I've read a couple of his books and they're amazing. They really helped me look at life a bit differently and to readjust my views on some things. Not completely redo my views, just readjust. Is how we're going to call it. But so I follow him on Instagram and he put out this post and I just want to read that for you quick. Every moment of every day, we are choosing what to pay attention to, what to think about the thing we're paying attention to, what we feel about things, how we're responding to things, and what perspective we're going to choose. Will we be open-minded, judgmental, indifferent? These are subtle mental choices happening all the time. It's important to remember this. We typically get so caught up in our suffering and emotions that we forget what we are always choosing. And this leads to us living on autopilot and making bad choices. Again, that was Mark Manson. Very awesome author. But I want to dig into what he's bringing up. I want to dig into choices, to the power of choices. We have so much power. So much power. I don't think we even realize how much power we have. The decisions we make in every day can change our lives. And this is even down to the smallest subtle choices. And not just our lives, but they can change the lives of everyone around us. And you may think that's not very many people. I don't know a lot of people. But if you're changing the lives of people around you, they know people. And they will be changing the lives of those people. And so on and so on. We have so much power. So how do we control that power? How do we steer that power for good? First off, we have to avoid what is called decision fatigue. So what is decision fatigue? Yes, it's actually a thing. It is. There have been studies and findings, and I don't have any of the information, any of the actual scientific information for you of any of the studies or anything. I probably should. I'm sorry, I don't. Trust me on this one, or go look it up for yourself under decision fatigue, But there has been research done out there that the more choices we make in a day, the more tired we get. The more we start to lose our ability to make good, solid choices, to use our entire brains to make those choices. We start to settle more as we make those choices. It's normal. You can only make so many decisions in a day before you become wore out. I remember back when Barack Obama was president, he was doing an interview, and at one point he mentions decision fatigue and how he recognized it, and he knows it's a thing, he knew it was a thing, and how is he going to fix it? Because being a president is a very tough job. It's a very stressful job. You have a lot of decisions to make as a president. And I don't care if you're president of your organization or if you're president of the United States. That is a job, right? I'm sure a lot of you know. You got a lot on your plate. So what do? He ended up making his very first decision of the day as simple as possible. So what's the very first decision of the day for everybody? Pretty much everybody. What are you going to wear? Right? I know a lot of us will go to our closets or drawers and open it and what fire shirt do I want to wear today? What's going to make me look cute? What's going to, is it cold or hot today? And does this shirt go with these pants? But I have 10 pairs of pants I can choose, and I have 30 shirts, and these pair of socks aren't as comfortable as these ones, so I'll wear these ones instead today, right? There's so many decisions with getting ready in the morning. That's already bogging us down because honestly, In the grand scheme of things, that is a pretty meaningless choice. So Obama, what he did while he was president to combat that, to make it as simple as possible, he let himself have two suits to choose from. Am I wearing the gray suit today, or am I wearing the blue suit today? It was that simple for him. That way he could free up his decision-making abilities for later in the day, for more important decisions. You can put this tactic into a lot of different ways, So if you go to work out, do you have 10,000 workouts you can choose from when you go there? Or do you have your one or two that you can choose from for the day? Are you on a routine? If you're on a routine, you don't have a lot of decisions. Makes it easier. You know what you're doing. I'm very much a planner. I love having my planners. I love planning out my days. I don't necessarily do it for off days, like when Chris is home or something, when we're doing other stuff. I like those to be free-flowing, but when days I'm home alone, I plan out. This is when I'm doing my podcast recording. This is when I'm editing. This is when I'm working on this project. This is when I plan to make supper. Yeah, things can change, and things do change. It happens. But I have a set plan of what I do. And it helps because if I know what I'm doing, I don't have to make those decisions. I don't have to go when I'm done with this project, what project am I working on next? Because I've already made those decisions. I've already figured that out. And it leaves my brain open to better decisions, even when I'm designing something, right? I can make better decisions on the design instead of what to work on. Finding ways to pare down those decisions, those easy decisions, will make the rest of your day run smoother. Will allow you to make those harder decisions easier. You're going to care about them more. You're going to make better decisions. Not necessarily easier. I probably shouldn't say that. But you're going to make better decisions. You're going to have more information behind it. You're going to have more motivation to make a better decision. And you're going to stick to your guns a lot easier because you're not wore out. I mean, how often, after a long, hard work day, maybe you're in the office, or maybe if you're a mechanic, you're doing that stuff, or if you're at the station, you're so many decisions that are being made. You're kind of done with it. You're tired. You just want to go to bed. You come home, and you have an hour where you can do stuff, right? So you can either turn on a long episode on Netflix or something, right? Watch that, go to bed, easy peasy, or you could do maybe a 20-30 minute workout, maybe spend 10 20 minutes watching something or whatever, and then go to bed. Same amount of time. You're not losing any time there. You just got to decide what to do. And actually, in both those scenarios, I'll give you, you actually have a chance to sit and relax, but one of them's a lot longer. When you're tired after a day of work, which one are you going for? I can almost guarantee you're going for the one where you sit down for an hour and then go to bed. Because a lot of us do it. It's nothing to be ashamed about. It's the way life is. But what if we can make those decisions work better for us? What if you're not worrying about all these tiny decisions during the day? You figured a lot of those out. You have more willpower when you get home to make the decision of, I'm going to work out for a little bit, then sit down for a couple minutes, then go to bed. You'll be more up for making those decisions this way. One thing we have to realize is our decisions that we make, our choices that we make, are very important and impactful. I don't know if any of you guys have watched Black Mirror on Netflix. So Black Mirror overall is like it's a series, but each episode is a different storyline. They have different points to it. Anyways, I love the series. It's a really cool series. It's kind of quirky and sometimes dark, and it's interesting. It's my kind of show. It's just cool. But they put out one special that was called Bandersnatch. And now in another rabbit trail off of Bandersnatch really quick to give you some context. Have you guys ever read a choose your adventure type of a book? I don't know if you remember these or if anyone's ever done them. I loved them growing up. I had a couple of them. And what you do is you start at the very beginning of the book on page 1. You start reading through. And soon, either at the very bottom page 1 or maybe page 5 or whatever it is, you were faced with a choice. And you could either do A or B. A, you would go to this route. And so you'd have to go to this certain page, which may be in the back of the book or who knows where it is, right? And B, you'd have to go to this specific page, which again, who knows where it is. So you make the choice and you flip to that page. Then from there, you'd read that little part of the storyline. At the end of that, it'd give you another choice. And you would continue this throughout the book. You'd go back and forth from, very front of the book to the back to the middle to the back to wherever your choices took you. Sometimes you end up dying and you'd have to start over. Sometimes it would send you back to a certain checkpoint to make another decision again. Sometimes you'd make it to the end of whatever storyline you chose. But guess what? It wasn't the only storyline ending that could be. It's just the one you found. So you could read these books over and over and over again and get completely different outcomes every time. It was so cool. So cool. So when they came out with Bandersnatch on Netflix, I watched that, and it is a movie version of a Choose Your Own Adventure. It was freaky, but I loved it. There's something odd about, basically you making the decisions for this movie. If you watch the movie, it doesn't tell you how long the movie is, because it can't. Because the choices you make determine how fast or slow the movie goes. Maybe you put extra stuff in there. Maybe you don't. Maybe you skip parts. Maybe you end up dying and you have to go back to a certain spot to make another decision. Maybe you want to start completely over. It's cool. If you guys haven't checked it out, I highly encourage you, go check it out. It's fun. I recommend if you're not into suspense and kind of creepiness, I probably would not do it at night alone. I did that the first time and it was very interesting, let me tell you. But I probably wouldn't recommend that to you if you are susceptible to anything like that. Daytime with another person is perfect, or like with a group of people or something. It's kind of cool. But you start out in Bandersnatch with the movie starting, you're watching it, and it comes up on your first decision that you can make. And the first decision you make is, what are you eating for breakfast? Are you eating cereal 1 or cereal 2 from the two options they have? Very insignificant, right? Doesn't mean anything. So you pick this one. Awesome, cereal 1. Go a little bit more into the storyline. Awesome. Pretty soon you're caught with another decision. What are you listening to on the bus? Are you listening to this music or this music? So you choose maybe option B for that time. Awesome. Keep going. As you keep going through the storyline, the decisions get harder and harder. And the decisions mean more. That's what happens with our days. And it's so much fun because you end up going on so many rabbit trails and you have to start over and you want to see what the other storylines are like, because when you start going through the storylines, you're like, wow, this is way different. I should have done this the first time, or this is a much better movie or whatever. That's life. That is life. But it's so interesting to me on that first question they ask. Which cereal are you doing? You don't notice it the first few times you go through this movie. I've probably gone through this movie like probably 20 times by now, just because it's that fun for me. You don't realize how much that first choice, even the first two choices of what you're having for breakfast and what you're listening to that day, change in the storyline. Picking one of those options won't allow you to get to some other options that could be happening later, and vice versa. It's cool. It's freaky. It's weird. It goes to show you how important those small, insignificant decisions are. No choice is truly insignificant. And it's something we got to be looking out for, that we have the power over our lives in this, and that there's so much power in it. And even choosing something as simple as what to eat for breakfast can change our day. Okay, so let's start with the first example, of choices that we can make, of choices that we've come up against, right? And what they do for us, and what are the differences between the two. So let's start with breakfast. I have a few different things I like to eat for breakfast. Some of them are good for me, some of them are not so good for me. When I eat eggs in the morning, I feel good. I feel happy. I feel energetic. I have a great morning, empowering morning. I feel like very productive. I want to go work out. I want to do, I don't know. I want to do something. It puts me in such a bright mood. I'm ready. I have energy. I feel good. My body feels good. Let's do it. Let's do all the things today. Got a big house project. All right, I'm in. Take that, eating eggs versus me eating Pop-Tarts. I love Pop-Tarts. Probably a little too much. But I love Pop-Tarts. I do. But guess what? They are not good for me. And I know when I eat those, I feel sluggish. It's okay. It's a fine morning. It's not good, not bad, just whatever. But guess what? After I eat those, I want to sit up and curl on the couch. Like, that's the kind of morning I want when I eat those Pop-Tarts. And I definitely do myself a disservice when I have a big morning ahead of me and I eat Pop-Tarts because I think it's quick and easy. And I'm like, oh, this will be fine. Ugh, Taylor, come on. Make better decisions. Because I always end up regretting it. I always am like, oh, I just don't feel like doing this today. It sucks. And I don't want to. And whereas if I would have just taken the extra couple minutes and made some eggs, I would have been so much happier. My day would have been laid out so much better. Let's talk about going to the station. Whether you're, career or volunteer, I don't care. As you guys know, I love them both. I don't care which one you are. This applies to everybody. When you have a station training, are you standing in the back being a wallflower? Letting everybody else do things? Are you up there in it? Are you volunteering to be part of it? Are you trying to go up first to get in on that training? Take a second here and reflect. Which one actually are you? Not which one you want to be, because I know which one I want to be too. I think I know which one most of us want to be. But which one actually are you most of the time? Maybe you're new at this. Maybe you want to sit a little farther back and not be the highlight of attention because you don't want to look stupid. I get it. Guess what? I've been that way most of my life. Guess what I always feel bad about after the training? I always feel like crap for sitting far back. I always feel like crap for not putting myself out there and getting up there. I always feel like I should have done more. And guess what? I should have. It was a terrible decision for me to make. And it takes us making that choice. It takes us pushing ourselves out of those comfort zones to go up and be the one who's in it and doing it. Not to be a superstar, not to impress people, to impress ourselves. To know that we are showing people there that they can count on us and that we know what to do and that we are not afraid to make mistakes. That we understand that making mistakes should be done in training. Because if they're happening in training, they're getting worked out before they're on the fire ground. It may seem like a small thing. You may be like, well, why does it matter if I stand in the back? Why does it matter if I'm not up first? We're all going to get a turn to do it, so why does it matter? Maybe you're a more senior firefighter. Maybe you're somebody who's had some time on the job, right? And you stand in the back, because maybe you don't need the training. Maybe you've done it a lot. It does matter. Where you're at in training, how much you push yourself to do, how much you put yourself out there, it's going to shape what kind of firefighter you are and you will be. And it's going to show people what they can expect of you. If you're always in the back, if you're always just not wanting to be the first one to do things, if maybe, and I understand, maybe you've had a hard day at work, maybe you really don't feel like doing anything. I get it. I do. But if you're doing that constantly, what are people going to think of you? What are people going to expect of you? So let me ask you a question. Let's create two versions of you, okay? So there's one version of you who is an officer, right? Maybe let's say a captain. You're a captain, okay, on your fire department. You're standing here conducting the training. Awesome, okay? That's version 1, captain. Version 2, firefighter. You're the one learning the training. So would you, as the captain, trust you, the firefighter, if you, the captain, hadn't seen you, the firefighter, do the work? I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't. If I was the captain, I saw me as the firefighter not doing the work, I wouldn't trust him to do it. Same principle carries over. So if you're standing in the back, if you're constantly in the back at trainings, if you're constantly not doing things that the rest of the group are doing, maybe you are the senior firefighter. Maybe you have had years on the job. Maybe you don't necessarily need that training all the time. I get it. I do. But if another firefighter doesn't see you do the work, even if you do have experience, are they going to trust you? I know I wouldn't. Faith is a touchy thing. Faith is very much earned. And faith that you can do something is very much earned. And especially, let's say I'm a rookie. Let's say I'm a rookie coming on to your department. And I see you as a seasoned firefighter, right? Just standing in the back, not doing anything. Maybe you're just letting all the rookies have a chance and all the other firefighters have a chance because you know this stuff. That's awesome. But if me as the rookie doesn't see you do it, how do I know you know how to do it? How do I even trust you going into a fire? And you may think, well, trust doesn't need to go that way. Trust only goes down. No, trust goes up. It goes both ways. And it even comes from the rookie firefighter. You need to ensure the rookie firefighter trusts you. Long story short, I don't care if you're scared. I don't care if you're a senior firefighter. I don't care who you are. Let's stop standing in the back for trainings. Let's push ourselves to get up and in there. To go do it. Go do the work. It's scary. I know. But let's do it. I don't know. That analogy probably went pretty far into it, but you know what? I apparently really wanted to talk about it. And that's why I have a podcast, and that's why you guys are listening. So I want to go into another type of decision we make. Who do you spend your time with? And it's something I'm pretty sure we've talked about before of, who you spend your time with does affect you. It impacts you. It helps mold you into who you're going to be. So you want to spend time with people that you want to be more like. Are you spending time with people who push and encourage you? People who want to go to trainings? People who eat healthy? People who work out? Maybe people who are very positive? Maybe they're good team workers and they like to hang out together. Are you spending time with those people? Or are you spending time with people who are more lazy? Maybe not right out saying that, but, maybe they, come into the station. They just they're there. They do what needs to be done, but they just barely get it done. Or they do the bare minimum of what they need to. Maybe they kind of bicker and complain about a lot of things. Maybe they don't really care about the training so much. They just go do them because they have to or something. Maybe they sit and eat junk food more often than they should. Maybe they're big on the gossip, big on talking people down, and stuff, and in on the latest craze of who what to talk about in the department. Who are you spending your time around? I know who I want to spend my time around. Doesn't always work that way. I know. We don't always get a choice on who we're stationed with. I get that. But as much as you can, figure out who you're around and who you want to be around and try to make that happen. Usually there's at least one other person at your station or in your department that you can go hang out with that's like-minded or that you want to be more like. And if nothing else, go find it elsewhere. If you can't find it at your own station, go find it outside of your department. Go find it with other friends. It doesn't have to be people in the fire service. Find people outside of the fire service who are into that stuff, who are more positive and outgoing and want to pursue the betterment of themselves and their people. Go to conferences, go talk on social media with people like that. There are always ways to find your people. So do it. Make that choice and go do it. Just know that the people that you're around, the people you associate yourself with, the people you spend your time with, they are going to shape you. So take a good hard look, and do you want to become like them or not? And if you do, that's great. Stay there. And if you don't, find other ways. Find other people. That has a big impact on who you are. Overall, there's so many choices we make in a day. I just touched a few of them. Just a few. I went a simple one, a couple harder ones. There are so many ways. So be more aware of all those choices you're making. Make those choices easier on yourself if you can. Try to do things the night before. Try to do things, maybe every week or every couple weeks. Figure out a plan so you don't have to make so many choices. So that way, when things come up, you have the willpower to make the choices that you want to make for the betterment of you. Anyways, that is what I wanted to talk about today. Those are the points I wanted to get across. Those are, I don't know, what's been swirling through my head actually for a little while now, and I just didn't know how to put it into words. And I'm excited to finally tell you guys about it and to get it out there. So that's what I have for today. Stay tuned for next week. Next week is going to be a very fun episode. I have my friend Justin Ferris on, and we are talking about his firefighting experience in Antarctica. I know. Please tell me you guys just freaked out a little bit, because I know I did. The first time I heard about him going to Antarctica, it was nuts. I'm just like, what? Wait, what? I never even knew about that. I didn't know anyone could go. It was, all the emotions. And then I just had to know more. And I'm still learning more. So stay tuned for next week for that podcast. I recorded an awesome episode with him, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. So tune back in next week for that episode. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this episode on the podcast, and I will see you all next week. Have a good night, day, whatever time you listen to this, and I'll catch you on the next episode. See ya. Thanks for coming by and listening to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a rating and review wherever you're listening. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Couplings Fire Podcast. See you next time, everybody.